You're now watching Cultural Survival's Global News Bulletin. Every month, Cultural Survival brings you the latest news impacting indigenous peoples across the globe. This May edition features important stories from Europe, North, Central, South America, Africa, Asia, and beyond. Starting news from North America. In USA, a new report reveals South Dakota has the country's worst health gap. Native Americans face premature death rates 5 times higher than those of the white residents. To bridge this divide, officials are launching a new Indian Medicaid managed care task force.
In Canada, archaeologists in Saskatchewan have uncovered an 11,000-year-old indigenous settlement near Sturgeon Lake First Nation. By proving that complex societies existed after the Ice Age, the site validates long-standing oral histories. Local leaders are now moving to protect the ancestral land from industrial development.
In Australia, a Tasmanian magistrate has rejected an Indigenous woman's bid to move her trespass hearing to Aboriginal land. Advocates call the move a missed opportunity to address Tasmania's justice crisis, where Aboriginal people represent nearly half of the state's prison population.
And in Kenya, the Senate Justice Committee has slammed state officials for failing to legally define indigenous peoples. Chair Hilary Sigay rejected unprepared reports demanding distinct legal frameworks. Agencies must now consult the Attorney General to fix the decade-long ambiguity.
In Namibia, hundreds of Ovahimba and Ovazimba members are protesting the proposed Bayness hydropower projects in Omuhunga. Residents claim a lack of consultation, fearing the 840-megawatt dam will submerge ancestral lands. Namibia's ombudsman is now investigating these communities' grievances and demands for transparency.
In Vanuatu, indigenous women are transforming Vanuatu's travel industry by blending ancestral traditions with modern conservation. From sacred water dances to coral reef protection, local leaders are pioneering sustainable community-led tours that safeguard the archipelago's heritage while empowering the next generation of women.
In Cambodia's shift to wind power is facing backlash in Mandulkiri. Indigenous Buyong communities claim the 900-megawatt project has cleared ancestral lands and shrines without proper consent. Residents now fear for their cultural heritage as advocates demand stronger protections for land rights.
And in Papua New Guinea, indigenous leaders in Papua are rejecting a government plan to build a modern fishing village on their ancestral land. The Wiaga tribe claims officials bypassed mandatory consultations. Critics warn the national initiative threatens local cultural rights and could spark deeper conflict.
Now moving to Americas. In Paraguay, massive protests hit Asuncion as thousands of indigenous and peasant groups take to the street demanding land redistribution. Demonstrators highlight that less than 3% of the population controls 85% of the productive land. They are calling for immediate legal title to 200 territories.
Moving to Guatemala, Amnesty International has designated Guatemalan indigenous leaders Luis Pacheco and Hector Chaclan as prisoners of conscience. Detained since April 2025 on terrorism charges following peaceful protests, the rights group calls the imprisonment an arbitrary punishment for exercising freedom of expression.
In Brazil, Amazonian nations have launched a landmark collaborations with indigenous leaders in Brasilia. The new Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization's mechanism grants local communities a direct voice in regional policy, uniting ancestral knowledge with state power to combat the climate crisis and ensure rainforest sustainability.
Moving to the Amazon now. Hundreds of Amazonian protesters reached La Paz following a 28-day march. The group is demanding the repeal of a land law they fear will trigger mass foreclosures and allow private banks to seize their ancestral territories for debt.
In Peru, indigenous leaders in Peru are rejecting a proposed Amazonian reserves, citing a total lack of prior consultation. Community spokespersons argue that the plan threatens their territory and self-determinations and demand immediate, transparent dialogue with the government before the project moves forward.
And in Ecuador, an urgent health crisis in the Ecuadorian Amazon has claimed the lives of 8 Achua children. Indigenous leaders blame government negligence for the preventable leptospirosis outbreak. While aid delegations arrive with supplies, officials face intense pressure to provide immediate medical intervention.
That is all for this edition of Cultural Survival's Global News Bulletin. Stay tuned for our next broadcast. For more information on the rights of indigenous peoples, visit cs.org and follow Cultural Survival on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and Blue Sky.